Today I've got 9 horror reads, including one all-time classic, in another big book haul from Book Outlet. Hi everyone, welcome to Serrated Pages, horror, crime and genre fiction with an edge. I'm Ben, and this is the second half of a book haul which I posted the first half of last week. I did a fairly large order as part of Book Outlet's $5.99 fiction sale, which they run several times through the year, and it's always a great time to kind of stock up on stuff, particularly books from the last few years, because they specialize in overstocks. These are generally things that have gone out to big box retailers, haven't sold, been sent back, and then get sold at a discount. So as I said, there was so many books in that order that I split it into two. The previous video I posted last week, this is the remaining 9 books in the order. If you've read any of the books that you see here, or indeed, you have an opinion, you think I should bump some of these up my TBR, I am definitely going to get to these sooner rather than later. There's one book which I'll leave till the very end, which is an all-time horror classic, which I have not read, despite the movie version being one of my all-time favorite films, which I've seen countless times. And so that is definitely coming up in April. But yes, flag for me in the comments down below if there's anything you really think I should check out in the coming months. Okay, first up, a book that I've heard a lot of booktubers talking about, and that's Marcus Kliewer? I'm going to say Kliewer. I don't really know, actually. But We Used to Live Here is an intriguing premise. A couple who are renovating houses, a house, a family turns up on the doorstep and says, "We used to live here. Can we come in and take a look around?" They are invited in. 5 minutes becomes 30 minutes, becomes an hour, and they refuse to leave, and strange things ensue. A brilliant premise, a great setup. Excited to see where this goes. Max Brooks, an author who I'm sure many people will be familiar with just from World War Z. Not super prolific, but I really do enjoy his writing. This is a first-person story about, or a first-person account of a Sasquatch, the Rainier Sasquatch massacre. And yeah, I'm interested to see him turning what he's done for things like zombies and turn it onto Sasquatch. So, next up, Alex Grecian, Rose of Jericho. Alex Grecian is an author I really like. He's very good at writing historical genre fiction. I'm reading currently The Yard, which is the first in his Scotland Yard murder series, Victorian detective series set in the wake of Jack the Ripper in London. He's also probably best well known, I think, for Red Rabbit, which has got a fair amount of attention, vampire western that he wrote in the last few years. This is set in New England in the 19th century, and I believe sort of a set against the background of the witch trials, the suspicion, the persecution stuff that's going on around that time. I don't know if it's specifically about the witch trials or whether it's a bit more kind of a bit more fantastical than that, but I'm really enjoying what I'm read of him so far, so this is definitely one I'm looking forward to. Next up, The Unworthy by Agustina Bazterrica. She is best well known for her science fiction cannibal book, Tender is the Flesh, and I believe this is the follow-up. I don't know exactly when it was published, but this seems to be her turning her attention towards religion and particularly, mysterious female orders of religion. I think it's set in like a mysterious order. Yes, the Sacred Sisterhood, in like a strange convent. There's strange goings on. Again, I've kind of avoided reading too much about it other than that, but the fact that she wrote Tender is the Flesh, which is a really interesting book, made me want to pick this up. Next up is The Devil's Playground by Craig Russell. And I mentioned on the previous book how much I loved books that are set against the background of movies, filmmaking, whether it's classic Hollywood or kind of cult cinema. This is set against, or the background for the story is a mysterious film called The Devil's Playground, made in the 1920s in the silent era. It's apparently a cursed film. Strange things happened around the making of it. And the quest 40 years later of someone trying to find a copy of this lost film. So I love that setup. I love the idea of lost films. And yeah, it plays to all the things I like. Similarly, Mr. Magic from Kiersten White, who wrote the recent story about kids having to hide out in a fairground, sort of a thriller, sci-fi type thing. This is set in the aftermath of children's television. A bunch of former child stars reunite and discover that something dark happened in the past. The children who were on this show, Mr. Magic, reunite years later. There's some sort of dark secret there that they're investigating. Again, it's a great setup, really interesting idea. Chuck Tingle, Lucky Day, another writer who a lot of people have talked about on BookTube, particularly on Horror BookTube. Bury Your Gaze last year, very highly rated. I think this was on the Goodreads Choice Awards as well. I think the setup is an unlucky day in which 8 million people die of horrific accidents, and the idea of probability and chance and luck going out of the window. So, sort of post-apocalyptic, sort of a sci-fi concept, but also horror. I know very little about The Cut by C.J. Dotson, other than it's set in a haunted hotel, and it has a great cover. You talk about judging books by its cover. Well, I judged this book by its cover, and I picked it up because there's a tentacle coming out of a plug hole, and it's set in a hotel where weird shit is going on. So, I mean, we'll see. I don't know if it's any good. It's got a decent enough rating on Goodreads. I thought I'd give it a shot. Okay, finally, and I mentioned an all-time horror classic, and that horror classic is The Exorcist, one of my all-time favorite movies, one I've seen countless times, but I have never read the original book by William Peter Blatty. And I managed to find on Book Outlet this fantastic new hardcover edition with beautiful sprayed edges, all in delicious pea soup vomit green, including the spine and including the page edges. So this will be on my TBR for next month. I'm really excited to finally read the book of which one of my favorite movies is based on. I've been meaning to read it for years. I've had several copies on paperback sat on my shelf over the years and never got around to reading them. So this is the opportunity, and yes, I will definitely be reading this next month. Okay, that's the haul. I hope you might have read some of these so you can give me some recommendations. If you have, if there's definitely a do not read this anti-recommendation, then post that down below as well. Please like, subscribe, share the video wherever you social media, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time on the channel.